We will be starting in about 2 minutes. Good morning, everyone. It's morning where I'm at in beautiful downtown Huntsville, Alabama. This is Eric with YouZign. I'm looking forward to our webinar this morning. If you are on, please announce yourself and we will give you an opportunity to tell us who you are and where you're coming from. Always like to hear where people are coming from on our Friday training webinars. So hit me up in the chat box here and let me know who you are and where you're coming to us from today. And I'll watch for you. Okay, the chat box is a little bit awkward for me, so we're still working through some issues with the platform, and so I'm looking forward to getting a chance to hear where you're from. Melissa from Wisconsin, good to have you this morning. So I'll just keep watching here. We got Al from Chattanooga, and we have Joanna from the Netherlands. It reminds me of a line from a Billy Joel song where the regular crowd's shuffling in, and so I always look forward to hearing from you and where you are coming from. So I appreciate that. Fred from Palm Beach, Ron from North Carolina, Carolyn from IMP. I'm not sure where that is, but you are certainly welcome this morning. We have hi from Waco, Texas with Lawrence, Tom from Apple Valley, California. Many of you I recognize. We have some new folks today as well. So people that I don't recognize, it doesn't mean that you're new, but good to see you. Good to have you on today. Jeff from Rwanda, good to have you this morning. Anybody else? Anybody else? We have a little lighter crowd today. It is a holiday in the United States, a holiday very near and dear to my heart. Mike from Hull, England, good to have you this morning. Mike, it's not morning where you're at, so but we appreciate you coming on and being with us today. Anybody else? Anyone else? I know that, like I said, this is a holiday in the United States, special holiday for us. And so we might have a much lighter crowd today, but that's okay because we have a little lighter agenda today. And I want to make this the best experience that's possible. And so I'm having to do two things. I'm watching two different computers to be able to pick up the chat box, and hopefully we'll have the platform will be straightened out with the providers that we have by next week. They promised us 2 weeks and last week. And so we're going to make this work today. And then we'll look forward to what we're going to have in the future with them. So Max from Zimbabwe and Dana from New Hampshire. Max is asking how many minutes before we start. We should start in the next 2 minutes, Max. By the way, it's good to have you on as well. Anyone else? Yeah, we just kind of have to do this little introduction, Max. It gives us an opportunity for people to join us, and we're always glad to hear who's here from and where they're from, because y'all are special to us. And I just love the flavor that we have and the people that we have an opportunity to interact with here. So I appreciate that. I really do. All right. Anyone else this morning? Anything else? And we'll get at it. So we'll be able to tackle our agenda for today. Okay? All right. Good to have you all with us today, and so we'll have the best experience that's possible. The instructions are a little bit different. I don't know if you have a chat window because we're doing this on YouTube. I don't know if you have the question there. So if you have a question, do this for me, and this will be helpful. Put a question mark in front of the question. Put the question mark in front of the question. That way it will hopefully catch my attention. Like I said, I'm having to watch the chat stream on a separate computer. So I will do my best to go back and forth between those two and see if we can't do that. But if you have a question, be sure to put a question mark in front of the question, post the question. I will try to catch my attention, and I'll address your question the best I possibly can. I will do my very best to answer that. So let's go through the agenda I have for you today, and we'll see where we're at here and what we might be able to do as we go. Okay, I have a question that has come up here. Let me check this out. Hang on just a second as we start. Okay, if you are having difficulty figuring out where to make your comment at, down in the lower left-hand corner of the YouTube channel, there is a button that says hide or show chat. So make sure that you have clicked on that. That was the question that I had. Make sure that you hide or show the chat, and that will give you an opportunity to be able to, actually the show chat is in the upper right-hand corner, and when you hide it, it's in the lower left or lower right-hand corner. Okay. All right, Dana from New Hampshire. Anyone else? Okay, Fred's asking a question. We'll see if we can get to that question, Fred. Do not let me forget, how do I blend two separate pictures? Let's go through our agenda here first, and then I'll see if I can, I think I know the question that you're asking, and we'll see what we can do with this, okay? So, I'm not sure that we can accomplish exactly what you want, but we'll do our best to be able to address that, see if we can get close. So, I always want to remind you that when we talk about things on Friday, then the announcement will be, I'll try to give you the new stuff on Friday, and that's the privilege that you have for being here. And so, but we make the announcement on Monday or Tuesday. And so Rose is really good about being able to put into our YouZigners community the updates and the new features that are possible. So if for some reason you are not a member of that YouZigners community, we want to make sure that you are. And so I always remind you of the stuff that's going on in that community. It's a great place to be able to show your designs and your skills, and to be able to get input from other people. And it is not a support group, but it is a place where you can ask questions. I'm just stumped with this, and so it gives you an opportunity to be able to do that. Okay, the next thing is that we're going to talk about templates today. I know I talk about templates occasionally, but I have a new twist to do on templates today. We're always being asked for templates for various things, and I'm going to show you how to create your own templates and what to do with those and how to make those work for you. Okay, so we'll address that issue today. If we don't have a template that you're looking for, you have two options. You can suggest a template, or you can make and save your own. And so we'll talk about how to do that this morning. Okay. Then I'm going to give you an opportunity to catch up on some questions that you've asked, just like Fred asked the question about blending the two separate pictures. Not sure I'm going to be able to answer that the way that you're looking for, but I'll show you how it can be done. Okay. So I'll show you something similar to that. Then, so any other questions that you have, we're going to address those questions a little bit early today. And then the other thing is the power previews. And I mention this to you frequently, and I'm still amazed how many people do not know that that's there. So we're going to talk about how we can use those previews and where they come from and what you can do with those as we move forward. Okay. And I'll give you some tools to use in that preview tool that we have as well. All right. And then there have been numerous questions that have been asked about PageZign. And so I will mention briefly something about PageZign this morning. Okay. We're not going to spend much time on it, but I will mention PageZign and some of the other integrations that we have and where you find those at. And then we'll talk about some of the coming soon things. We still are working on some things with the curved text tools. Realize this, it takes a while sometimes to get things out. They have to be tested over and over and over again. The curved text tool was very complicated to build to begin with, and we were able to get that done. And then we have some enhancements that we're doing to that, and you can look for those sometime in the near future, but I cannot give you an ETA. Everything, we have a philosophy at YouZign that we don't put stuff out and then have it get broke. So we try to make sure that things work and they work properly and they've been through proper development and testing and all of that before we release them into the public, so we don't have to take something back. Okay. The other thing is we're working on a branded color text so we can make it simple for you, and that is in development but was not able to be released this morning. So I know we're really, really close with that. This is about 8. I have seen the YouZign school, been through some of the stuff that's in it. It is going to be an amazing platform for you, and you're really going to like what's there. There are, as the last time I looked, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 pages. By pages, I'm talking about a video, or I'm talking about a step-by-step process, or something to that effect that is going to be in that YouZign school. So that's going to be an amazing opportunity for you. Okay, I'm looking here. Let's see, make sure we didn't miss anybody. Ken from Daytona Beach, thank you for showing up and being there. It looks like Sam was able to find the chat button, so that's good. All right, and then the last thing, had a wonderful opportunity on Monday, went through a whole bunch of things that are on the docket for enhancements to the platform itself. Not just things like the curve text tool and not just things like the branded color text, but some real enhancements that you're going to see in the very, very near future, where where you have immediate access to help by rolling over something and taking a look at what's there. So there's going to be some really cool stuff coming up in the very, very near future. And so the development team has really been focused on those things and trying to make everything work properly so that you have the very, very best experience possible, and working through some of the bugs and some of the fixes that need to be done in order to make those happen. So I think you'll be excited about what you see as we go down the road. Okay. So let me see if I can share my screen here. Oh, that is not the last thing I wanted to do, was to do that. Let's move to this. Sorry, did not want you to get a face full of Eric. That was not my intention at all. Let me put this down and we'll move to the next thing that we're going to do. Okay, so let's talk about some things here concerning templates first. Okay, let me get my screen where I can see it. And we'll go back out to the dashboard. And when I go to the dashboard, I want to take a look at this screen right here. If you are part of the template club, and I hope you are, if you're part of the template club, then you will have a whole bunch of templates that are available to you. All right. And you take a look at those templates. And what we're going to do today is when you click on new template, you've got numerous opportunities here to be able to create a new template. So the question's been asked a lot. I always have somebody who says, well, what about a template for this? So today I'm going to show you a template for PowerPoint, because that seems to come up a lot. And I think this is 724, I think is the PowerPoint template size. I think it's 1024 by 724. And it's better if it's 96 DPI. So just switch it to 150, and that'll make for a better viewing experience as a PowerPoint template. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a background. And you do this just exactly like you were building any other design. I'll walk you through this process because it's really simple. And then once you've done that, you'll have it. And I'll show you where you'll have it at and what it's going to look like. So let's grab this background right here. And then let's say, for example, that I want to brand my PowerPoint template. And I think this is going to work for me just fine. I think that'll be a good background. So now I'm going to go to my graphics area. I'm going to find the group that has in it what I'm looking for. And I'll just go down here and grab a logo. And we'll take this one. I'll take this logo and I'll make it smaller. I'll stick that logo down in the bottom so I can brand it this. And I might want to make my background just slightly lighter so that text shows up just a little bit better on it. And now that could be my template for a PowerPoint presentation. I could add anything I want to it, but that could be what I want my template to look like. So here's the process that we use to do this. Hi, Linda from Tulsa. Let me show you the process that we do to do this. Let me save this. I'm going to save this as, just give it a name. You let that load up, and while it's doing that, I'm going to tell you, you can create your own templates. You can take the templates that are available and create your own templates. You can do a lot of different things with this, and being able to do this is going to be extremely helpful to you. So watch what happens here. I'm going to go back out to the dashboard, and now I have this right here, okay? So I scroll down to that 3 dots in the corner, and I can save that as a template. And when I save it as a template, it's going to give it a particular name, which I had given it here, Webby 12. Now, I'll show you where that's at. Select template, and it's under my templates. And there are my templates right there. Okay. So now I can grab that template anytime I want to. And I have that template available to me. So people who've been asking for templates, that's exactly how you go about creating your own template. Okay? It's really fairly easy to do, and it is a great opportunity for you to be able to get exactly what it is that you're looking for. All right? If you want this particular template design, or you want it to save like this, then you save it, you give it a name, and then you'll always be able to go right back over here to the template section, and it'll always be saved under my templates. Say, for example, I find a template over here that I want to use, and I want to pick something that's close to the size that I'm looking for. Okay, so if I was looking for, in this particular case, I wanted to customize the size of that. So I went to custom size, I saved it as 150 DPI, and I created the own size. But I want to get something that's close to that size. So if I can get something close to that size, yes, Jesse, we do keep the replays of the trainings in the member area, and I'm going to show you where that's at, because that question comes up a lot. So I'll show you where that's at before this session is over. Is it possible, Max is asking, is it possible to drag a graphic element from one YouZign template to another? No, Max, it's not possible to drag it from one template to another, but there is a way to save it as a group. And we talked about that last week, and I'll be glad to do that again today, because that's the easiest way to do that. I know it would be easier if you could drag it from one template to the other. It's just that's a different and I don't want to talk about programming, but that's a different design element than we've got built into what we're doing right now. Now I'm speaking out of my area, but I do want you to understand that that's a different kind of thing than what we have right now. Okay, so I had to answer the questions. Now, I was going to say, what you want to do is you want to find something that's close in size. So the thing that's fairly close in size to that PowerPoint template that I just created is this. It is a Facebook newsfeed. Is fairly close to that size. All right? So because it's fairly close, it's not exactly close, but it's fairly close, I can go in and grab a template that is a newsfeed size template. And when this loads up, you'll see what I'm talking about here. Okay. You'll get the size, and I'll show you where that size comes from. Okay. I click on right here, it tells me what that size is. And remember, it's 1024 by 7, it's 1024 by 728 or something close to that. So now what I can do is I can go over here to custom size, and I can take this and make this 1024, and I can make it 728. And now I've got it fairly close. I've changed the size, I've changed it a little bit, but I can take this because I'm not going to want to have text in that. I can take this element and remove it, and that leaves me with this in the background. Now, the way you adjust that, show the off-canvas elements, move this over here, grab that corner, and you start pulling this to a place where it looks proper. Okay, that showing off-canvas elements is so beneficial. Don't forget that that's there. All right, now we're getting below this, so we want to make it just a little bit bigger. And now it fits my canvas size, okay? And I may want to make that offset just a little bit to make it look better. A tiny bit larger here. And maybe I want to make that, I want to reduce the opacity of that a little bit so that it kind of fades into the background. And I can save it right there. Maybe that's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay. So now I've custom sized that. I changed my DPI, so I've got a little bit better, slightly better resolution on that. And I can now save this. Okay, Max, we'll show you the group thing very next. All right. All right. I'm going to save this as it saves that that design that I have right there. It's going to save it in the size that I need. And as it saves it in the size I need, and one of the things that we're working on is speeding this platform up. So understand that that process is taking place. It's just a little slow. Some of the things that need to happen, and it makes a big difference that I'm trying to broadcast this at the same time. So work with me here if you can. And for some reason, our internet process seems to be a little bit slow at various times now. So stick with me as this loads up. But what you're going to see is that when I switch back over here to templates, I go to my dashboard, and now I have the option of saving this. I might want to rename it. Maybe I want to name it I'm going to save it with that new name. And when it saves with the new name, I will be able to then save it as a template. Okay, I don't have to rename it, but in this case, I wanted to rename it. I'm going to save it as a template. And when I save it as a template, and I select the template, it will be available right here. So now I have this. Okay, so that's how you create a template. Now let's address Max's question, because Max has asked a great question, and I really like this, and I want people to understand how valuable this really is. Let me do two things here. Excuse me. Let me do two things here at the same time. There's something else I want to talk about as well. So let's go over to prints, because people forget this is here also. And down here where it says Teespring shirt, that's a t-shirt. I've had people say, well, I can't find that. I said, it's under prints. Where under prints? Well, it's under Teespring shirt. And that's that's a t-shirt. Teespring happens to be a process. So that's where you will find this t-shirt design. Okay. And let's scroll down here and we'll find something that will be cool here. Let's just grab this one here. This will be a t-shirt design. This will allow me to accomplish several things at the same time, Max. So we're going to address your question. What's the difference between the two save features? One of them saves it as a template, and I can pull that template back in anytime I want to, rather than just saving it as a design. That's basically the difference, but it does make it a little bit easier to be able to find it, and because what will happen is you'll get a number of designs, and I'm watching people. It's really kind of fun for me. I'm watching people get their badges and progress along, and as they do that, what's happening is that their designs are building up. And so they're getting more and more designs. And then you've got the ability to be able to sort those designs into separate folders. And you can save one design just as a template folder if you wanted to, but it's just easy to save them as a template. And that makes it work really, really well. Okay, Max, take a look at this. What you'll see here is that you have this various elements inside of this shirt. Okay, this is my shirt design, and I have these elements, and there's a couple things I want to show you here while we're here. The first one is going to be how you go about, move this over here so we can do this, how you go about checking this out from the preview. Okay, so if I hit the preview right here, I now have a t-shirt design, and I can change the color. I can make it, and these are fairly close to the colors that are in Teespring, and that's the reason why it's called the Teespring design. All right, because I want to be able to have the colors so that they're pretty close, and I'll get a chance to see, do I need to do anything different with my, do I need to change this, make these look differently so I can go through here and I can pick a t-shirt design. So that's the image preview. Now, if you download this, and I'm going to download this, just checking to see if there's any questions. I'm going to download this, and I will do something with that in just a minute. Okay, let's go back over here. So now, Max, here's the question. This is the way you save those as a group. I want to save this debt-free together. So I click on debt, hold down my shift key, and then I moved to the word free, and you see how the box has drawn around the outside of both of those words. And then over in this corner where it says group, I've now grouped those two things together. I can click on the group, and then this little save tab right here allows me to save the group. I'll show you where this goes. When I go back over here to the graphics area and I click on groups, there is my debt-free group again. So I can pull that in, and I have that group. Okay. And the way I can deal with the group now, so that's a way to grab something that accomplishes the purpose that you were asking a while ago, Max, was I can take I can group the elements together. I can save the group, and then I can put them in a different design. That's not the same as dragging them from one design to the other, but it is a way to accomplish that goal. Does that make sense to you? Hopefully that will help you with the issue that you're asking about there. I'm going to delete that group, and we'll make some changes here. But then to ungroup that, I just go in here and I've now ungrouped that. I click on the group button, and I've ungrouped it. And I can take these things and move them together as a group. I can create a new group, by holding down the shift key and doing this. And now I've created a new group. I can save that. So I'm actually able to grab elements from one design and move them to another. Well, Max, I'm so glad. I was hoping that that would be what you need. This is a really, really cool tool that we don't, I don't see enough people taking advantage of. And I just think that once you learn how to use this, it makes all the difference in the world and how you can do some things. Okay. I just think that that's an extremely beneficial tool for everybody, and good to know. And we review it a lot, and I think it's helpful that we do that. Okay. So I now have taken that element. I've moved it here, and while we're here, let me show you another thing that you can do with this, because this is this amazes me. We'll put a little border around the outside of that, and I'll now no fill it. Okay. And you can do some cool stuff with it like that. Create a funky looking little shadow on something that's really not an easy shadow tool. Okay. Make that a little bit bigger. No fill it. And now I have that. Do you see that? Okay. Have a question here. Hang on. Let me get the question. Tyree says, thank you. I now understand how to use the group feature. And we'll be showing some more tips and tricks with that as we go down the road. I talk about it a lot, and I don't want to do overkill, but I think it's important, and I think it's a good tool for us to have the ability to be able for me, it expands my mind. It gives me the ability to be able to grab an element that I would have never thought about before in another template, as I did, and I went through that extensively last week. As grab a element in another template and bring that in and create an entire design around it. And it just really opens up my world. It keeps me from having to create everything and imagine everything from scratch. And I think that's extremely helpful. Let's see. Okay, Sam's asking, I'm having trouble changing the text in a line. In your group text, show how to change the wording. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. I'm really not. Changing text in a line. I don't understand your question, Sam. If you could restate that question, that would help me. Okay? So while you're restating that question, let me show you what I'm going to do with this shirt that we just did. So I'll select the file here. There's my shirt. Bring that shirt in. We'll have a little fun here with this. Now that's going to load up in this case. And what we've seen a couple of times is that sometimes the shirt gets saved with the background. Sometimes it doesn't get saved with the background. And so I was going to show you how to remove the background. If it did, in this case, it did not. And so we're good. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have a little fun with this. That shows you that no fill tool. And y'all understand how to use that no fill tool. Have you kind of figured that out? I've played with that a lot, and as soon as it became possible to do no fill on text, man, it was like one of those mind expanding kind of things. All of a sudden, I had all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, Max likes the preview option to change the shirt color. So now we're going to have a little fun with this, just because I like that. This is going to be kind of a fun thing on Friday. So I'm going to take my shirt design, and this is what I'm going to do. How about a shirt in a shirt? Okay. A shirt in a shirt. I thought that'd be kind of fun for today. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out your question, Sam. I want to help you if I can, but I'm trying to figure out your question. Like freeze, say frozen or something, still doesn't help me to figure out what you're trying to accomplish. I'd love to help you. I really would, but I'm having struggle trying to figure out what you're saying. And if I could figure it out, if somebody else can help me understand Sam's question, we'll be glad to do that. So have you ever seen a shirt inside of a shirt? I thought it'd be kind of cool. All right. So a little fun with that this morning. Kind of a fun, cool thing to do here. So let's go back over to the previews thing, and we'll go back out of this. We'll delete that, and we will go and we'll take a look at, scroll down here to prints. And well, let's go back to the template. We'll just start with a new template. Linda, I'm going to talk about page design in just a minute. So if you will give me just a minute to do this, I will get to that. Okay. Let me, but don't let me forget. I think that's a great question. And there have been a lot of questions asked about page design because it is a different kind of, it's, I don't want to say it's outside of our normal element at YouZign because it's not, but it's outside of the user experience sometimes. Okay. So let's grab back here again under prints because sometimes people forget that this is there. This is where you find your business card designs. Get very familiar with what's underneath prints here because this is really going to make a difference for you. By the way, letter right here is a great place where you can create a template. Let's just take a look at this, where you can create a template for a portrait style PowerPoint template. So you could do that with a letter design right there and make that. So let's go back over here. I want to take a business card for a minute. So I'm going to grab a business card design. Tom says he thinks that you're trying to change one word in the text without writing a whole line of text. Okay, I'll play with that thought here in just a minute. So I'm going to grab I'm just going to grab a business card here. Okay, so let me get a business card loaded up, and I will save it. And there it is. We'll call this. So here's my template, or here's my business card design. And let's say, again, Max, back to your question. Oh, okay. All right. I think I can answer that question right here. Let's say, for example, that this text, I want to change this in a template. All right. This is my template, but say I want to create a business card for myself. And I can save that business card as a template. It's going to save it under my templates. And I'll forever have that template design. I can change the background. I can change the color. I can change the phone number. I can change the email address, that kind of thing. So let's say that in this template, I want to change this. I just do what I normally do for text, and I can double click on this, and I can do all kinds of stuff here. I can change the color of that. Remember, I got my branding colors right here. So maybe my branding color is going to be green. And so I can change that to green. I can call it Lizzie Holland, and I can change that to green. Maybe I don't like this color right here, and I can go back to that branded color again, and I will have that. I can go through here and change all of my colors to my branded colors from the colors that are there. So that's a way to change that template again. I have to ungroup that one. Oh, wait a minute. I grouped it. I'm sorry. To ungroup it. Now I can go back over here to my template. I can grab that color, and I can start making all of my elements in this, my design colors. Okay. So that's the first thing. Now, all I have to do is in this template, say I have changed my email address. And I'm just going to change this to Gmail. I can do that, save the template, and I will forever have that change saved inside of that. So hopefully that has answered your question. I think that's what you were asking. Look at debt-free and change one of the words. Can you point to something on this template and ask the same question? You just want to change the wording. That's easy. You just double click on this and it allows you to change the word. I can change the color of one word. If I want to change the size, because I can change this, but say for example that what I really want is I want Lizzie to be small and Holland to be big, which I'm not really sure why you would do that. But if you wanted to do that, what I would do is I would, let's make sure that we've got the right. This is going to be Canadian. Okay, so that's Canadian style. So I'm going to grab this, double click on this, and I will get rid of Lizzie or get rid of Holland, and then I will duplicate this. Okay, so I get the same design. See what we're doing here? Line those up, make that the green color that I did before, and I now can change that size independently like that. Does that make sense? Hopefully you're following along with me. That's another tool that we forget to use sometimes, and that is this duplication tool. If I want to save that, all of this information right here, which font size, which font was that, what size was it, maybe I want to save the color and I want to change the size of it, I can just duplicate it, and duplicating it makes it really easy for me. Okay. Any other questions as we're right here? Yes, I know. Ron, that is in the works. It's down the road a bit, but it is in the works, and that's rounding the corners, being added. The image rounding the corners. Yeah, I understand, and that's certainly on the plate. It's just not the #1 priority right now. Okay, hopefully we're making some progress here with some of these little tools that we forget about, and I can promise you that in the very near future you're going to see some things here that are going to be very, very helpful to you. Okay, but now do you see how helpful it is to have that grouping tool available to you? Because we saw this is a group of stuff right here. So if I want to change the color of that one right there, which would really make a big difference, go over here to my customize tool. I can reduce the color of that. See how different that makes that look. Now it's really, really easy. I got two options. I can go over here in the corner, hold down my shift key. Oh, wait a minute. I can go over here, hold down my shift key, and I start saving those as a group. Now I've got them as a group. I can save that. Now, when I go over here to the group, I've saved that grouping. Okay. And I've got that. I can do something else with that. I can move that to a different design. I can, so I've got that max, and I can move that around into a different design. Do you have to save the design before you change the text? That's entirely a personal, it's a personal opinion as to how you want to do that, and you can do that in a multitude of ways. If you save your design, if you bring in a template and you save the design, just like we did right here. Now I can save this and it'll look just like this, okay? And I will have two separate, when I save this, I think this is a good question. I think it is. So let me save this now. I'm going to save that. It's going to override, but it doesn't override my template. I think that's the question that you're asking, Sam. So when I save this, and what you'll see is, as soon as this saves up, I think this will make good sense to you. I think it's a really, really good question too, because it does go to the earlier question, it does address the earlier question as to what's the difference between saving a design and saving a template. And we're about to see what the difference is. As soon as this loads up, you'll get a chance to see why I think sometimes it's better to save it as a template than save it as a design. As soon as it finishes loading up. Let me check the questions here. Max, last week, I spent a lot of time last week talking about how you can go and, because this came about as a call from my daughter. My daughter is a designer and she loves YouZign and she uses it frequently. She's a professional photographer. And she said, Dad, I really wish that we had this design in YouZign. I said, honey, it's in a template. Just go find it in the template. And so what she did was she went out and found the design in the template and she went, wow. That really, really multiplies the number of things that we have. And I said, yes, honey, it does. That makes all the difference in the world. And so, Max, yes, honey, it does. It makes all the difference in the world. So let's take a look at this. Just like I told my daughter, yes, honey, it does. So let's take a look here. Now, I've saved this as a design. I think this was the question that was asked earlier. So what's the difference between saving it as a design and saving it as a template? I've saved this as a design. If I save this now as a template, I have a template here. I have a template that I can go in and beat up and never affect my design. So I have it now both as a design and as a template. Does that make better sense to you as to why you would use that? Okay, Linda, let me answer that question while I'm out here because this is a really good question. If you will go right down here to right here, that's the webinar. They may have that offline right now, because I know that they were working on that. Actually, that's right here. Right here. If you will scroll down here, there are the webinar replays right here. Okay. Now, I know that in the future, because I've talked with Rose extensively about this, she's working on outlines and things that will help to make this more, bring some clarity to the whole process. Okay. So this is where the webinar replays are at. Right here. You just simply click on right here where it says help. Okay, that takes you to the support team and takes you to the place where there's all kinds of stuff that's here. All right, but in the future, when we have the YouZign school, you will see a change there. Okay, I think it's important to do that. There's one more thing I wanted to show you on that, so give me just a second to bounce back in here. And I get asked this question a lot, and this is the question that's being asked by Linda earlier. Okay, did we just lose the audio? Is it better now? Okay, we have this little bleep that happens, and I thought when we got off the Webinar Jam platform that inside of YouTube it would get better. And believe me, we're doing our best to try to make this the best experience for everybody, but these things are outside of our control, and we're working on it. All right. I'm looking to see if there are any other questions. Let's see. I think we've got this. So these are integrations, and this gives you the explanation about the integration. So very quickly, let me switch back here, and I want to show you the page design. All right, and then we're going to be wrapping this up. Page design is hosted not inside of YouZign, but it's hosted on a self-hosted WordPress site. Seems to be a little bit of confusion about that. Self-hosted WordPress site, and it is a plugin that goes into a self-hosted WordPress site, Linda. So hopefully that will help you to understand that the very first thing is that it is a self-hosted WordPress site as a plugin. So what happens is this, and I have a little site set up here so you can see this. What happens is you put the plugin in to your, like you'll see it right here, you put the plugin in to a self-hosted WordPress site. So what I did was I took a regular WordPress site right here and I added a subdomain to it just for this page. I think that's the easiest way to do it, and it works really, really well when you do it that way. Okay, then you go over to Appearance, you click on Word Page or YouZign Pages, and up pops this little integration tool right here. Now, a couple of things that were never really clear, and I want to try to make them clear this morning. When you look at this, you'll notice that there is a you have the presets right here, and the presets are the presets. That's what they are. They do not change. So this is the preset right here. And you can do this, but this is where it becomes magical. If you create the page first, so what I've done is I've gone in and I've created pages. I've created pages. Is everybody following along with me? I've created pages here, and I took all the pages that I was going to use. And I created a business card page, a Facebook cover page, an Instagram page, a Kindle page, a landing page. A landing page was an extra one. I didn't have a landing page before, so I've added that in, and LinkedIn and Pinterest and all of those things. So what I've done, go back over here to the YouZign page creator. First thing that you do is you pick the pre-select. So let's say I want to do a LinkedIn page. Now that's going to give me a LinkedIn page design here. I need to tell it where to go. I need to tell it to go to the LinkedIn page that I created first. And you have to create that page first. And when you create it first, then it makes it really, really easy. Go back over here to my presets. If I wanted to change anything here, I could do that. And the rest of that's pretty self-explanatory. But that one thing seems to have more questions about this than anything else. Create your pages inside of WordPress first. Then you have a list of pages where you can drop the design. And if you'll do that, that'll work for you. Are there any questions about that? I want to make sure that that's clear. I think this is a great little tool to help you build a design business. But there's a couple little questions because it's outside of our normal realm. And so it was something that I thought we needed to take just a minute or two today and talk about. This is different than your typical integration. All right. And what you have to do when you create this, where you look down here at your portfolio, okay? So when I call it packages or samples is what I called it. So when you look down here at your portfolio, these are LinkedIn designs. When you look at this portfolio, what you have to do is you have to grab that image and bring it in. Okay. So you've got to bring that image in, and it needs to be hosted someplace so that you can do that. Now, what you can do is take your media area right here. You can take your media area. You can put your library in here, and you can integrate your YouZign designs and save them in here. But you add your files in here, and then you grab. Let me show you how to do that. Just because I think we need to do it. So I'll grab a file that we had used earlier. I'm going to drop that in there. It's going to load that file up. Now, when I click on that file, I get a URL right here. Copy that URL, and then when I go back over here to the appearance in the YouZign pages, you need to know a little bit about WordPress in order to make this work. But just a little, not a lot, just a little about WordPress in order to make it work. So I go to the portfolio. Now I can drop that URL in there. Okay, that's how you do that. Are there any other questions? Because that's all the time I want to spend this morning on page design. And we've had a great conversation today. I just wondering, is there anything else? Oh, the talk about blending one image into another in YouZign. All right, let me show you. There's a couple of little things that you can do inside of YouZign just the way that it is. So let's see if I can. Let's see if I have that image somewhere. I don't even know if I have an image to do this. I have to be ready for that. That was going to catch me off guard just a little bit. All right, let's see if I can do this. Don't know if I have this loaded up or not. We're getting up against our time here. So let me see if I have that design anywhere. What I've done in the past, and we're getting that little, told you I'm getting up against the time. And now it has finked out on me for some strange reason. This tends to happen sometimes. All right. Let me refresh this and see if it gets better. We could find ourselves in an awkward position here in just a minute. We've had some issues. Not we, the platform has had some issues in maintaining this in the right way. I can do this. This is one way to do this, all right? I can take this image. I can duplicate the image, all right? I can now flip the image. And I have two identical images that look like a mirror of each other. And I showed how to do this a few weeks ago, okay? There is a way to do that, and I showed how to do that a couple of weeks ago. And I can create a mirrored looking image. All I have to do is reduce the opacity of that. I'm sorry, reduce the opacity of the lower image, and it starts to look more like a mirrored image. So that is one way. That is one way. Question is, will there be focus training on YouZign? I don't have the answer to that. I did do the video in the members area. If you purchased YouZign or YouZign, I did do the video in that. But I don't know that that's going to be anything other than what's available in the members area. But I can have a conversation and find out about that, because that just requires a little bit of explanation about how WordPress works, so that you can do a great job of building your YouZign tool there. I thought last week in your training where the design showed up inside YouZign as a Facebook cover, for example. Yes, we did do that last week. Actually, we did, and that's what we were looking at earlier with the preview thing. Was an example of that as a Facebook cover. So I did do the Facebook cover last week, Linda. Hopefully that's given you the explanation that you're looking for. Maybe just another video would help. I agree with that, and I've thought about this long and hard after we did the original video, which just explained how the program, just a little bit of a WordPress explanation that needs to be done. So I would agree with that. I would agree with that, and I will have a discussion about that and make sure that we have some opportunity to do that. I don't know if I'm answering the question about merging two different images. I've got an example here of two images, but if you want to really make that look like a great reflection, what you do is you take your background and you put a gradient background on. And best if you do that in this way, so that the top image becomes a little brighter than the lower image, okay? So making those just a little bit, making one just a little bit brighter than the other one helps. So you reduce the opacity, which increases the brightness here, and then you reduce the opacity here, which kind of helps to increase the darkness. But you have to get this portion a tad bit darker in order to make that happen. Okay, kind of like that. All right, now I don't have my size set up correct. Okay, I don't know if I've addressed the merging two images together, but this is a great way to do that and make it look like a reflection. Um, and hopefully that will help. Uh, I'll see if I can set up next week and have a good two different images to work with. I'd have to have the images, and I don't have two really great images to do that with today. But I think I've got an idea of what I might be able to do on next week's webinar that would help. So, any other questions as we wrap up today? Hit me up if you have any other questions. We have the ability to build a gradient. It would be better. Actually, that is what I did right here. When you click on this, you have the option of being able to increase or decrease that gradient as much as you want. Okay. So you can actually, that's a way of building your gradient. I started out with a basic gradient, which was right here, and then I made it the way I wanted it to look right there. Okay. Anything else? Did that help you, Max? And someone else asked the same kind of question. So hopefully that's been helpful. Anything else today as we wrap this up? Because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. I tried to make sure that we address the questions. Anything else? All right. This has been wonderful. You guys always make this a great experience for me to be able to face the challenges and the things that you're looking at and the things that you're up against and the things that you're working on. Those are really, really important to me. And that's the reason why I start every presentation talking about the community, because that's my chance to be able to talk to you down the road. Okay, so as you put your stuff, you put your designs out there and you ask the questions out there, as long as they're not support questions, man, I have more fun being able to answer those, because this energizes me. This is the stuff that gets me excited, and I always enjoy this. Don't have all the answers, but I really have a lot of fun working on it. Okay. Hopefully the group thing it always makes my day, Max. Glad that you could do it for you too. I just really enjoy the opportunity to be able to group those things together and move them back and forth and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's wonderful. Everyone, I have enjoyed today immensely. I hope it's been helpful and beneficial and enlightening to you. And I look forward to seeing you next week right here, same place, same time. Have a great weekend.